Hey, how are you?
Did you jump out of that? No.
We're gonna get started here in maybe like 1 or 2 minutes.
I'm so proud of you. Are you gonna take notes? Can you take notes for me?
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah. And
Good morning.
good morning. Yes, he is. He's online. He said, good morning, friends.
It was 55
Where
degrees
was
this
yours?
morning. It was so much nicer than yesterday. It was 42. All right, guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get started because we do have a hefty agenda today. I want to thank everybody for coming. We'll do a quick. Oh, my battery's down already. We're going to call a meeting to order, so I'm going to motion to call a meeting to order, and we need a board member to second.
Second.
All right, perfect. All right, so here we go. The agenda, I can just run through like this. We have, like we said, a pretty hefty agenda today. We call the meeting order. I'm gonna go through a couple things. I'll tell you again really quick about our staffing report. Not much has changed since our previous meeting, but we do have some new faces in here, so it's important you guys know that. And the super exciting part of this process is to go through the SAC grant proposals. We have 5 today. That's really cool. And if you weren't at our last meeting, this is a process that we spent a detailed amount of time, if that makes sense, talking about SAC grants and using that money that we have that's dedicated to SAC for our students, for our school, I should say, and using it effectively and using it rather than just sitting there collecting dust. Okay. We're going to talk about some community involvement. Good morning. And then we are going to do a quick PTA update. They got a lot of cool things going on and just wrapped up a couple cool events. And then we're going to get out of here. So with that being said, we are going to move to the principal update. I'm going to kind of fly through this stuff. And if you guys have questions, feel free to interrupt me and ask for clarification. All right, here we go. So first one, acceleration after school. This is what maybe you would call or refer to is after school tutoring, okay? This is a little bit different than after school tutoring. We just open it up and say, hey, if you want to get some extra, if you want your child to get some extra help, then they can come on Tuesday and Thursday. Right now we're focusing on reading or ELA. It's a little bit different for a couple reasons. One, you guys know, well, I'm going to let you know that in the second half of the year, we really are in that, make sure that our kids that have some deficiencies, some weak spots, to make sure that they're prepared for FSA, all right? So we're really focusing on a targeted group of students. The other part of that is because our teachers are working so hard during the day and throughout the week that there wasn't a ton of interest in teachers to tutor after school, which is understandable, again, too, because they're working so hard throughout the week. So we had a limited amount of students based on a limited number of teachers, all right? So right now our focus is on grades 3, 4, and 5, and we're gonna do it in phases. Right now we're focusing on English language arts, and I say that because it's reading and writing. We're actually starting with writing and then moving to reading. And together, Ms. Zupa, myself, the coaches, Ms. Mann, we scaffolded it, right? So we're gradually releasing these sessions so they are focused on what test comes up first. So, for example, like 3rd grade is getting a heavy dose of reading right now because their reading assessment is first, right? The writing piece for 4th and 5th grade is the first test the 4th and 5th grade take. So that's the first thing they're focusing on right now, okay? Then they'll move on to reading and math. And then 5th grade, the very last assessment, the state assessment they'll take is, it's like May 6th and 7th, Zupa, is that right?
For the science,
Yeah,
the 12th and
12th and 13th, okay, so I was way off. But, so like that'll be the last session that we hold. Hey, good morning. That'll be the last session that we hold for 5th grade. Does that make sense?
Good morning.
Yeah. Testing in detail, we'll come back to that. We'll do that one last, actually, because it's on the next slide. Car tag. This is something that we've kind of created. The school, we've kind of created some bad habits just throughout the course of the school year. We started to make connections with like family members who pick kids up and maybe they forget their car tag, and then we just kind of say, "Oh, you don't have your car tag today, but I know." Mrs. Wallace, this is Derek Wallace's mom, right? She doesn't have her car tag. I'm just using an example, right? So, sorry, you weren't ready for that. But here's what we got. So because we have so many resource people and teachers out and about after school, helping dismiss, sometimes it gets a little tough. Like parents who normally kind of learn that they don't have to bring their car tag because they're always seeing Janet or myself or Ms. Gote or anybody else, right? But then all of a sudden they run into like Ms. Mann. Ms. Mann's like, nope, I can't let you go because you don't have your car tag. The parent gets frustrated, and rightly so, because we've taught them that they don't need their car tag. So with all that being said, our goal is that if we can make sure that we're always bringing our car tags, I think that we've created some small ones too now. They're like quarter sheets of paper, that teachers can use now too. Family members can use now too, okay? Any questions about car tags? Yeah. Belcom Road construction. I don't know exactly what's going on over here. I think they're working on the overpass. But long story short, throughout the course of the day, during the day, they're going to have one lane closed, so they'll have a flagger out there. They've assured us that during arrival and dismissal times, both lanes will be available, so it shouldn't mess with the flow of traffic. But be prepared, like if you're coming here during the school day and you can't get through or it's taking you a long time to get through, it's because they're working on something other. Okay? Last thing, and I'm flying along, so again, too, if you have questions about this stuff, just interrupt me, raise your hand, okay? Stakeholder survey. This happens every year. It has almost like a different name every year. We've called it like Advanced Ed, Panorama. It's still Panorama. And it really is stakeholder. So there's 3 like aspects of this. It's the staff, it's the students, and then it's family, right? So the district sets like almost cut scores for what they expect. For the staff, we're expected to make sure that we get 60% of the staff to complete the survey. Although they say it's not required, but you still have to get 60%. Students, they want 40% of our student body to take the survey, and then 20% of our families in our community to take the survey. I pushed it out on Dojo. I sent it out in like one of the text messages or through the school messenger system. And I think even Dr. Jenkins did a call last week, right? Yeah. Parents, you get that? Yeah. If you can't find any of those resources, if you go to ocps.net, it's one of like the scrolling one of the scrolling messages on the very first page of the OCPS, Orange County Public Schools. Really, it's like a climate survey. Like, do you feel safe at school? Do you feel supported by your administrator? Do you feel supported by all that stuff? So it's it's a lot of feelings, and it's important to be honest because it helps the school get better, helps me get better, it helps the district get better. So, okay. Any questions on any of that stuff? Okay. So we'll jump into testing really quick. I'm going to fly through this. I don't know if you guys know Ms. Zupa. She is our, everybody knows Zupa. She is our SAC secretary. But on top of that, she's also our math coach. She's also our testing coordinator. So, and she loves it. So she could identify with all this stuff, probably even speak to it in more detail than I could. This is just a rough overview, well, it's a pretty detailed overview actually, of what testing is coming up and when it's coming up. So if you have a kindergarten, first or second grade student, they don't take a statewide assessment, right? We assess them at the end of the school year with the iReady end of year diagnostic, okay? And basically that allows us to track their growth throughout the school year, okay? Third, fourth, and fifth grade get tested intensely. Third grade, not so much as fourth and fifth grade. Fifth grade gets the brunt of it, unfortunately, okay? So third grade only takes reading and writing. All right, reading and math. Reading comes first, and then math, right? Fourth and fifth grade do writing, okay? There's a reading part, all right, which combines for their ELA score, the 2P score, composite score, and then they take a separate math assessment, right? And then fifth grade gets hammered, right? So they do reading and writing, they do math, and then they take the science test too, the science assessment. And then on top of that, the district throws in these end of course exams, all right, that they have to take, and those are in, and I'm gonna do my best, PE, music, art, health, yes. So fifth grade gets beat up. That's why we, in most cases, will not throw the end of course or the end of year iReady diagnostic at them because they are just absolutely tested out at that point. Okay. All right. So I've talked a lot. Let me open the floor for questions about any of the things that we talked about. It could be testing. It could be traffic. It could be stakeholder surveys. That means I nailed it. I love it. Okay. All right. So the important piece today is to get into the SAC grants. Okay. And then we talked about last week. Oh, staffing report. Real quick. Oh man, super sad but exciting. Is that Miss Locke, who dedicated 42 years to public education. Lovely lady, hard worker, cared about kids as much as anybody I've ever met or seen. She retired. Last Friday was her last day. So we wish her well. She has plans to spend time with her family. So we're thankful for her service. We celebrated her last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, yeah. Sorry. The days kind of blend together. We celebrated, we had a wonderful party on the Wednesday of her last week and some former students. And she does so many things with color guard, and I'm probably not saying that right, but she impacts a lot of students, and some of those people were here today, or were here that day. We still have a third grade teaching vacancy, and we still have an ESC severely handicapped paraprofessional vacancy, okay? I should say this really quick because we do have a lot of students who interact with us a lot for ESC resource services, so that's for outside services. I can tell you that man, it's wonderful that we've hired a person who was able to work with Miss Locke for like the last month, Miss Perez, Miss Jessica Perez. She's great. She's going to fill in. She's going to do a great job for the rest of the year. And hopefully we're able to retain her moving forward. So we're excited to have her. It's a pretty seamless transition. Okay. All right. Maybe I'm done now. Torres. Okay. Here we go. So. Torres, do you want to just kind of recap the proposal process and
Yes.
we get rolling?
So as we put together at the last SAC meeting, we do have a little over $3,000 in the SAC budget. So as the committee, we came together and said we wanted that money to go to teachers to do mini grants. And we worked on the Google form process, or that application that students, staff members had to complete. And those proposals were due last Wednesday at midnight. So we took the 5 proposals. I sent them off to Ms. Toledo to get translated into Spanish. You all have copies of them on the tables. Those online have a link to Google, to where they can view them on their own at home if they cannot see them on the screen. But we did make it to where staff members who wanted money, their goal was to come here and present their idea to you all so that we could vote as a SAC committee and see if we are able to grant them the funds they need for their projects that they have in mind.
Awesome. All right, so let's start off. Who's our first person?
Me. These are in order from when they were submitted. We might have to change some orders just because of morning duty. But I'm Ms. Torres. I'm the music teacher here at Endeavor. And what I have requested is $150 to purchase black lights off of Amazon. Early this year, I received a grant from the OCPS Foundation where I bought 30 pairs of drumsticks to eventually build a mini elementary drum line, but also to reinforce rhythms and rhythmic reading to help build fluency in reading in the music room, especially for our 2nd through 5th graders. Right now, kindergarten and 1st grade are using my tone bar mallets, working on their pitch percussion skills, whereas the upper grades, I do want to purchase black lights. So I'm gonna tape the drumsticks white so that they can glow in the black lights. I have rhythms created to popular music to reinforce that steady beat to the students. And what we're gonna do is turn off the lights, turn on the black lights, and then with my bright orange buckets from Home Depot that will glow, we are gonna have a fun time reading music, creating music together, but also creating that loud escape right before FSA testing to build some social and emotional time with the students, let them have fun, they get to hit things, and it'll be a grand old time. So in the packet, I listed some of the standards that we are going to be addressing with 2nd through 5th grade. That ties it all back to our school improvement plan. Any questions?
When are we gonna do this?
Yeah, thank you. As I did put in there, I did not say when my project will be completed. I'm hoping to do this right after spring break before the big FSA testing of ELA reading for 3rd grade and writing for 4th and 5th grade. Thanks. Good looking out.
Perfect. So this is a relatively new process for us, so there may be a few growing pains. So what we talked about in the what we talked about in our previous meeting is that a single individual will be able to apply for a grant of no more than $150 in a single time, right? And then we maxed it at 2 grants per year, right? Also, teams can come together, and so the grant can be more than $150 if there are multiple people. I think that Ms. Torres has done a good job of outlining the standards that will be focused on, also the SEL piece as we charge it to FSA in the testing season at $150. So I'm going to motion that are there any questions, any further questions? I'm sorry, thank you.
Are you asking for like individual roles, or are you asking for that big?
Strips, black light strips. They're actually in the sensory room.
Oh.
So they're installed in the sensory room, and I don't want to move those that are already over there. They're similar. I made sure there are specific ones that I put in the Amazon shopping cart, because the next step is, once everything's approved, to go see Miss Rodriguez to follow her process for purchasing them. So I have asked for certain strips with a certain wattage because I don't want them to be small and dim. The music room is quite large, so I did request, I believe it's 5 lights to really illuminate the room, plus the strip that I have purchased out of pocket.
Perfect. Well, I motion to approve.
I second that motion.
Perfect.
Say loud.
So what we'll do is all board members, all SAC committee members, right? You know who you are, all right? So those individuals will be voting members for this purpose, right? So we have a motion, we have a second, so we're gonna vote, all right? We're gonna vote because we do have a quorum here today. So we're gonna vote for the approval of Ms. Torres's SAC proposal. Is that great? I vote yay. All right, perfect. All right, approved. All right, first one is approved.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, Torres.
And now our second proposal is from Ms. Quadrado and Mrs. Meehan.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So we applied for this grant, so that we can have a mic and a camera in here. As you can see, Ms. Torres has a camera at the moment. And we would like to purchase something very similar. COVID hit and everything went virtual. So virtual field trips, and then authors, instead of coming to the schools now, they can do virtual interviews. And we feel like this is something that is not necessarily going to go away. The virtual field trips are a great opportunity to do field trips on top of what we already do here. And then also with having authors come, authors can present now and be at 100 schools at the same time. So it's pretty amazing. But to do that, we do need a camera and a microphone. Do you want to continue? Do you want to?
Yeah, I think was last month, we have the virtual, with the author of this book, it's SAC Vote, and it was really nice, presentation to her. The students really liked it. So I think things like that we can do. And then in the beginning of October, we did the storyteller reader for kindergarten and first grade, and they really love it. So they can do also museums, different trips, tours. So it's gonna be so awesome if you approve for us and the camera and the microphone. It's the same one she have it.
Mm-hmm. And we've had to use, Ms. Torres has been very gracious and has allowed us to use her camera and microphone for any of the events that we've already had. But I want to add on just a little bit. The kids are so excited about reading this year, and it's showing because we have over 17,000 AR points, and it's only February. Last year, I believe our total was only about 12,000 for the entire year. So I believe that part of the reason that we have so many is because we have gotten to experience so many of the authors coming and talking to our kids. They presented or read to the kids in kindergarten and first grade, so it really gets them excited about reading. And of course, we know that reading is, the foundation for everything. So I'm excited to have this opportunity because I think once we get a camera and a microphone, we'll be able to reach out to more people. I think we've kind of scaled back a little bit because we don't want to keep bugging Ms. Torres, even though she's been super helpful and gracious. But if we had one for the media center alone, I think that would help us just to be able to have more opportunities like this in the future.
And aren't you bringing in an author this Friday for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yay!
we are. So if we had that camera and microphone, and if he felt comfortable, he could present at more than one school, at a time. So, and I think that's just going to be the future. What we're going to see in the future. I think that's not going to go away. So, you want to add anything else? Okay.
Just thank you.
Yeah, no, I think that, I love it. This definitely ties to our literacy focus, which is in our school improvement plan. You guys, I've reiterated that our only double-digit drop in the category that we witnessed or observed last year through the testing process was in a literacy goal and reading in our bottom 25. So anytime that we can take an opportunity to cultivate or encourage literacy, is something that I think could definitely benefit us. Help make that connection with authors, which are sometimes hesitant to come to schools now, or even just remotely. Maybe they're in California or New York or maybe Michigan. Who knows? So. All right. So I'm gonna step back for a second, and I'm gonna let the process of what we would need is we need a motion and a second, and then we would vote.
A motion to vote?
Questions?
Oh,
Question,
sorry.
yeah, I'm sorry, thank you.
So I guess to have there are authors that are already like doing virtual interviews right now, right?
Yes.
So this would be with an aim to have the host and author here and broadcast that to other schools?
No, it would be the author has decided that, like you said, they live in California and they've decided to use OCPS as a county to present their book or to have an author discussion with the kids. And so they would be virtual and we wouldn't be able to really interact with them without the camera and mic.
So would you be traveling to the author with the camera and mic?
No, they would be online. So what's her name? Janae Marks, she came, she was here on the screen, we borrowed Miss Torres's equipment. So she was on the screen, and the kids were in here, certain kids that were able to read the book. They were in here and she was on the screen, and then somebody from OCPS was basically like a monitor, and he would answer all the questions. So we could unmute ourselves, we could ask a question, she
Okay,
could
so
answer it.
so it's our ability to interact with the author.
Like a
Correct.
reverse that of
Got
that now, I guess, so the camera would almost be up here, so the author could see our audience.
Yes, the
Okay.
cameras was back here and the camera showed all the students and showed that we were, involved in interacting, and the mic helped us talk to the author, when she was available for the question.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Good question.
Any other questions?
A motion to vote?
All right, so we vote for the second SAC proposal for the microphone and of the camera. It's $300, but they're coming together as a pair. So all vote. All right.
Yay.
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 All right. Any no's? No. All right. Perfect. Okay. Good job, guys. Thank you.
And we move on to SAC proposal number 3, which is Coach Brands. Oh, we're gonna switch, all right, we're gonna do a quick flip-flop. We're gonna do Miss Rodriguez and ESE, then Coach Brands, because we do have a lot of staff members with that ESE group that are going to get to morning duty.
Good morning, all. We gathered here, the ESC team, all the teachers, to go ahead and present a proposal for our sensory room. Our sensory room is a new addition to the school. We've had it for a few months, and this is mainly for our ESC students. They go, we have some students that go throughout the day. It's part of their routine, and they go, and this allows them for a release, a safe room. They have lighting for their sensory. So the reason why we wanted to go ahead and apply for this is because we do need better lighting in the room. We do have the black lights, and it's super cool, but it could be a little bit dark. So if, more for the safety issue, I would like to possibly get some cover so we can turn on the lights, but not have it too bright in the room, so the sensor, the black lights can, still do their purpose. And we also have a small ball pit in the back. But we did, when we purchased this, we got what we thought was going to be sufficient, but we actually got something very, very small. So out of the whole unit, maybe 2 or 3 kids can possibly benefit out of going into the ball pit. So we had a huge vision of converting the back room into the ball pit so that the kids can go. They pretty much, this works for to improve their visual, their tactile processing, and it also gives them a break. So sometimes they have a lot of energy, and just 15 minutes in the morning does a great difference for some of these kids. So we did ask for $900. We have quite a few people applying towards this grant. However, if the amount is not granted, we would be grateful with anything that we can go ahead and put towards the sensory room. As there are kids in the units that use it, but there are also kids in Gen Ed that have benefited that are in ESC. So yeah, it's great for all of the kids that can participate. So that's pretty much it.
How many kids are involved in the program?
So about, that actually visit the room is about 20 kids throughout the day. Well, not at the same time, but we have like a schedule. There are some children in Gen Ed that we can go ahead and pull out to kind of alleviate the teacher and alleviate the student also, because it can be a lot when in a Gen Ed setting and you're not in a proper placement. So we do try to go ahead and assist those kids, support those kids, give them time in the sensory room, but also in our unit as well.
It doesn't have to be criteria just either, because there's a lot of experts that know more about the ins and outs of the ESC than all of us, right? So can you tell us, can anybody on the team tell us a bit about the units and like the specific disabilities, like maybe not individual students, but like what we're talking about as far as why that sensory piece is so important?
Right, so we do have children, for example, on the autism spectrum. They are very big on sensory. They like textile textures, just the lighting. Like we have a few lights. We have students that will just go there and stare at the lights. That kind of gives them a moment of release. So, but not only on the spectrum. I mean, we have other students with other.
HTSC too, when they need a lot of breaks during the day. That means we need to allow them to go and have 5 minutes break in the sensory room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they understand. Yeah, like if they obviously go with a structure and expectation, so they understand that, hey, you can come here for 5 minutes and release. Jump on the trampoline, jump in the ball pit, look at the lights, whatever makes your heart happy. But when it's time to go, now we have to go, we have expectations, now we go back to the classroom. So it kind of gives them a space to get rid of all that energy without really disrupting the classroom instruction.
And the young lady here is Miss Saleta. She's our pre-K IND teacher. She has the AM and PM classes. So.
You know how the cost breaks down between the ball pits and the lighting?
I do know that the most goes towards the ball pit, not so much the pit itself, but to get enough balls into the pit. Because right now, like I said, we do have something small, and we have we purchased like a bag of like 500 balls, and it's barely non-existent. Like the kids jump in there and they're pretty much touching the ground.
I'm Mr. the ESA teacher in intermediate grades, grade 3 to 5. But when I've gone in there, my kids do not fit in there.
No.
I have the third, fourth, and fifth graders, and they do not fit.
Not even first graders.
They love it. They want to get in it, but they can't get in it. Mostly the pre-K ones, and there's maybe 2 kids at a time
Right.
can get in it. And not only the ball pit, I mean, we have a lot of sensory objects in there that they can play with, like the Kinetic Sand and like the slime. So there's a lot of things that not only can help them, calm them visually, but also with other their sensory issues that they have. So it's a great project. I'm so glad that we were able to get it started, but it would be good to have a little bit more of that.
So with this $900, could it also go towards more like Kinetic Sand and,
Definitely.
yes.
The
Yeah,
time is
I'm
very expensive.
So the way the sensory room is set up, yes, we did create some stations, and we have some texture, Kinetic Sand, Play-Doh, certain things that the kids can actually go and do. So they have some, but they love it. So it would definitely go towards that. And like I said, the lighting for me is more of a safety concern because it's super cool. But like I said, once you turn off the lights, it's all black and dark and glowing, which is awesome. But sometimes they jump, they scream, they run. So for me, it's better if we were to get the lighting covers, which is it's a pretty big room, and we're actually lighting 2 rooms, the main room and the back room. So the lighting covers were a little bit of an expense, but like I said, mainly it's going towards the bulkhead. And so we did that because that way the bigger kids can also benefit from it.
And just one more. Is this something where, like, some of our students who are on behavior plans with Miss Blair, is that something where they can go into that sensory room so it opens up to other students in the school as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
As long as
Because
they
they
have
have the ability
support.
of the schedule.
Oh, yeah.
too,
Yes.
Because the
Because we
ESC
do
will
have
be
a
have the
schedule.
priority
Right.
during the day. That means they need to fit in that schedule.
As long as they have the support, because we can't really compromise to being able to take those
Yeah.
for, a certain amount of kids. So as long as they have the support, there's a key, there's a sign in and out sheet that is kept in Mr. Aldo's room. So they're more than welcome to go ahead and use it if necessary. Yes.
How much expansion are you looking at for the ball pit?
Well, the back room, I measured it, it's about 11 feet, 11 long, 7 foot wide. So it's pretty big. It is pretty big. Yeah. What we have right now is probably like a small kiddie pool, very small kiddie pool. So the expansion would be, that's our main project.
About 80 square feet.
So, and right now, like, you have a small kiddie pool in that back room.
Yes.
Is the back room being used for anything else?
Well, we have lighting there. We have a mat. We have some bounce, like balls that you can sit on and bounce on. But other than that, no, because we originally, when we started with this project, we had the idea of making the ball pit in the back room. So we didn't really occupy it as much because we would like to be able to finish that project.
So are you looking at converting the back room into just a ball pit, or?
Yes, or at least more than half of the room, right? So that we can get in and out and have the kids go in and out of the ball pit safely. We want to be able to walk into the back room and then have the ball pit there, not just open the door and have the ball pit.
It's really small. And,
Any other questions about the proposal from the ESC team in reference to the ball pit and added lighting? No other questions? Does anybody have any clarification about how it aligns to the school improvement plan? Super, you had a question?
Not how it aligns, but would you use a black light with the covering as well? And would that serve the purpose of the black light?
Well, yes, because I did find black light or coverings that are like outer space and they're black and purple.
Okay.
So it would work, it would let the black light do its job, but with providing us a little bit more clarity in the room. Gotcha.
Could it also be something where you buy like blue covers, like so you can swap out the covers to maybe have like a blue like calm room if there's a child who is kind of really over the top at that moment, just to kind of help soothe and calm them
Well,
down?
I've never thought about it. I think that's a great idea. However, to swap out the covers, we probably need a ladder and assistance of other people. So it won't be, unless like we schedule it and say this kid is going this day and they're gonna need this, and we have like group support where we can actually get those covered, I think that would be
I think that's a little over, like, the sensory room to be all multi-sensory, and then you put the blue lights and calm them. I think it's a little, I don't know if that would actually work together. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's something we can look at.
go ahead, sir.
So I have another question, and this is kind of, just given what I've known about ball pits, there's a reason why most of the restaurants have taken them out. And that's because they are a hygiene hassle. Kids get in there, they wet themselves, it's all over the balls, they find feces in the ball pits all the time, find all sorts of other stuff in the ball pits. Is there a plan for maintaining hygiene in the ball pits? And
Yeah, we have the disinfecting spray. We always clean everything that we use, even in the ball pit, and we will go in there and we will disinfect and kind of gather it around. However, we don't take the balls out to clean them. Like I said, it's something very small, so it's easy for us to clean right now. But we do have a routine where the kids have to go to the restroom and do all these things, the necessities, before they go into the sensory room.
so the other thing too is the SAC budget is about $3,000, a little over $3,000.
Yep.
So this is looking at a third of the SAC budget that you're looking to dedicate for 20 kids who will be using this on average.
but we are getting together, ESC are getting together to get this project done. It's not like individual person, like say, Coach Brown or Mrs. Torres, they are trying for their own classroom. Now we all are part of this big room, like pre-K, Miss Wood, Miss Giraldo. We have three.
Right,
classes.
I get that you bundled a bunch of people together to get to this fund amount,
Mhm.
but it still doesn't change the fact that some of the other projects are going to be touching more students, having a larger impact. Whereas yours is the largest project to date and only touches on average about 20 kids.
I do understand where you're coming from. However, these kids in this population, they lack a lot of how do I say, exposure to certain things that gen ed kids are exposed to.
So
So-
my question is, have you looked at other more cost-effective methods
I have.
for sensory?
I have, and to build a sensory room, we're looking at over $5,000. Sensory rooms are very expensive. Anything that has to do with benefiting any, for example, kids on the spectrum, very expensive. So this is actually something that I looked through Amazon. I have a list, and this is the most cost efficient, and that's why I asked for it. I've shopped around and tried within budget. Actually, when we first started the sensory room, we also had a budget. So we kind of had to go around, because if you go ahead and get a sensory room done by a company, you're looking at more than like $5,000, $6,000 easy.
And can you tell us real quick, what's the initial investment that the school made for the sensory room as it stands right now? Toledo, maybe you know this number?
About $600.
Yeah, so the school has supported to start the initiative. Not every school
Oh,
has
yeah,
a
and
sensory
then
room,
the
right?
individual money.
It's,
$600 is amazing already, but I think we can make it better. But it's not only 20 kids. I mean, that's it. And I have 10. We'll have 11. I think 8, and so they keeps growing every day with students plus with students in gen ed. And just to add on to what Ms. Rodriguez said, these kids don't have all the opportunities that gen ed kids have. So this is a little escape for them. This is something that they look forward to, and it helps support their behaviors, their overall day. So
can I throw this out there, because I like the I love the dialogue we're having. This is a good conversation. I would throw out the idea, almost like a stipulation, that like if we do approve the $900, it does sound like it's an idea that doesn't solely have to focus only on the students who are in the IND units and some of our gen students. Would the team here be willing to facilitate like a brief staff development, explaining to the staff how this could be used for their students in a very controlled manner, as you've laid out, right? Like it's a very controlled situation. We have a side in, side out sheet. Would you guys be up to doing that? So, because I'll be honest with you, not everybody knows about the sensory room. Not everybody knows one, that we have one, and what the benefits are, right? Because I'll tell you right now, not every school has a sensory room. This is a very unique thing. It's becoming more popular in schools, but it's not something that's district funded and district supported. The research supports it, but the district financially doesn't support it, right? So is this something you guys would be interested in, educating the staff and helping them understand the process? Yeah, Coach?
I wanted to throw one more thing in. We do have a couple teachers that are new teachers, and you can just tell by their demeanor at the end of the day. Sometimes they feel defeated. So I feel like this shouldn't just be for students as well. I did take one of the teachers in there, and as soon as I opened that door, the black lights were on, the music was going, and the things were moving. He walked in, and he looked literally like a kid at a candy store. What is going on?
Yeah, no,
It looks so cool.
reaction that you get out of the kids and regular people when they go in the room, it's really amazing.
I think they're underselling it.
There is a question from online. They want to know, if this is all approved and able to be open to other students in the school, is there a way that they can block out sometimes so that they can take in students who are stressing over testing, just to kind of alleviate that testing anxiety?
Well, we do have a schedule, a
Yeah.
Google form schedule, but it all depends on who would be able to take them.
Yeah.
Right, because
Supervision
if
with
there's
it, yeah.
a person to support them and pull them out and take them, sure, why not? But I think that would be mainly the main thing that would have to be worked out. Who would be able to support these kids when and they, do go to their sensory room?
And then there is another question that has asked, can this project be done in 2 phases? That way you can get one kind of going right now and then one going after it.
Yes, definitely, definitely. That's why I said, I mean, I do realize that we, applied for $900. But if we can get anything granted, any amount, we would be grateful. We would definitely go ahead and, start whatever the budget allows us to start first.
So, yes,
Yeah, pre-K, are required to have sensory space for my students, and I don't, in my class, because I was searching, and it's very expensive for cafeteria, like, a small pack of sand, it's like $30, and it's just a little amount like this. I mean, I'm not gonna buy little amount for one student, and then everybody wants to start fight over that little amount. If right now she is like completing the process, that's why I'm waiting for to have complicate works in different ways. I mean, they need to have a turn, they start learning those social skills, and I'm just waiting for, that's why I'm putting my money in this, my part of this money, $150 for cafeteria, for the small room, sensory rooms, to be able to take my babies over there.
I hear a lot of really good points on all sides. So what I am kind of hearing are some questions about the dollar amount. Is anybody interested? Let's just open it up really quick. So when we still have 2 more proposals and we have about 15 minutes, is there interest out there for SAC meeting half the need, $450? Does that sound more economical? I don't know. I know that we're talking kind of in circles at this point. I do want to get to a resolution. Does anybody have any insight on that, or would you feel comfortable with $900? This is not a me decision. This is a committee decision. So yes, Zupa.
I think moving forward, we might need to put like something on the Google form that says, like where they can attach what they're asking for, like, so we know what the dollar amount is.
Like a
We could say,
price
you know what,
breakdown.
Right, so we can say, yeah, we can do the, like, we might need to wait on the balls, or something like that, that makes it a little bit easier to digest as,
Mhm.
as a, you know, a committee. So that's just something we might need to add. But, yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, and I did break it down.
Yeah, you broke it down.
Do we have any insight as far as dollar amount? Yeah.
I support the 2 phases, just to make sure that, there's enough opportunity for other people to also get the money, so maybe if
I agree.
500 now and then 400, like revisit it.
Okay.
Because if we only have 5 proposals, if teachers aren't asking for this money, then
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we shouldn't deny them the opportunity to do something truly amazing.
That's a great point. So I'm gonna motion that that the ESC team has asked for 900. I'm gonna motion approval of 500 of the 900, and with the idea of breaking up into multiple phases. If I don't have a second, I'm okay with that. We can restructure the motion, but that's my motion right now. Okay, so we have a second.
Yeah, we're happy with that.
So we're gonna vote. So committee members are gonna vote. So all in favor, raise your hand for $500. Okay. All right. Any no's? Any no's? Okay.
Sorry. It's down. I'm reading and typing. I'm sorry.
Okay. So we got $500. Mizupa, can you reflect that in the notes?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, good job. Hey, good job. That was good conversation, good answers, good questions. All right, here we are. Where are we at, Torres?
We're gonna jump to, proposal number 5, because I know the bell's gonna ring and Miss Ricky has her students outside her door.
Okay.
So we're gonna jump to budget proposal 5, which is Miss Ricky in 5th grade.
Oh, I have pictures, but I don't know. All right, so I did break down the cost so that you would see what I'm requesting. Basically, it's room transformations. I've done a few of them already. There's some on here if you wanted to see, like we did a glow day. So I'm requesting for glow sticks. I already have black light. I made like a boat in my room, and this support. This one was for social studies standards. The ones that I'm asking for right now are supporting some science standards. So having those organ aprons to support our human body and learning what the different organs are, what they look like, where they're placed. So I'm asking for, I think, 4 of those. And then just making it a transformative day. It supports the SEL, it supports student engagement, and not wanting to miss school, which is fantastic. So I'm asking for glow sticks. It is a 300 pack, so it wouldn't just impact right now. It could be used again. And then there's like, it's kind of a gross out day because we're doing the organs. So I thought, hey, what if we got these little eyeballs that we could make different partners and pairings rather than them always using the same students and like meeting up with the same group. So kind of making it a little more random and fun. And then flashlights. So we're going to work on some literacy standards and telling spooky stories and working on this narrative, which supports the standards, which I've listed on there as well. So I'm asking for $144.93. That's what my Amazon cart said it would be. So yeah, so we've done a few. They're fun.
All right. I feel like I talked too much of these things, but listen, I would tell you that not few of our teachers do like true class transformations. Miss Ricky is one of them, and whether she's wearing her spacesuit to school in class all day or the glow sticks, it really is a very interesting process. It's neat. So I can say that what she does with fidelity. So I think that's something we should consider. So. Anybody have any questions, clarifying questions for Miss Ricky? Great job, Miss Ricky.
I didn't talk about because it's all on here. So.
I do like the fact that you've listed multiple standards, like writing standards, literature standards. You're talking about the content science too.
Yeah, it's an all-day thing. It's really fun, and I have pretty decent attendance, and I think because of classroom transformations, I try and do one a quarter. So they get along. Like I don't have to send anyone to display. I don't have to send anyone to Mr. Napkins. Like it really unifies them. It gives them something to bond over.
I motion to vote.
Yes. Yeah. All right. All in favor? Yes. That's awesome. Awesome.
So we're gonna jump back.
144.93. Ready to go.
I was very precise. And we are going to jump back to SAC proposal number 3. We've got Coach Brand.
Hey everybody, thank you guys for putting all this together for all these individual teachers. I've seen the show Shark Tank before, and I feel like this is so once again, thank you guys for doing this. On my proposal, you'll see that I asked for like $150 for new basketballs for our students. We already do have a class of basketballs, but if you guys don't know, I myself have 2 to 2.5 classes at a time. So there are some activities that we can do that use one class set, but I would like to get another class set so we can play basketball in everybody's hand at the same exact time. Whenever we do basketball, we do simple dribbles, especially with kindergarten through 2nd grade. Left hand, right hand, we talk about dominant, non-dominant. But then we also have a chance to see if they can take the ball and just take it from one hand to the other. What that does for our students is it crosses the middle point of their body, and when we cross the midline of your body, there's a chance that students have a left brain and a right brain connection. Whenever they connect those two things, it helps with reading, writing, it helps with gross motor skills, fine motor skills, and that could also be cross-curricular. It can help out with music, definitely with art, whenever students are using crayons, markers, painting. It can help in all aspects, I feel like, to our school. I am very strong in basketball. That was my first love, so whenever I teach basketball, I come with a passion just to try to show these kids exactly how it's supposed to be played. But not only that, I don't want to say I was nonverbal as a kid, but I didn't like to talk. I let my actions speak for themselves. And I feel like some of these students, they do need that outlet. They don't have a good communication verbally. It's a chance for them to just bond with somebody, play basketball once they know the skills, to be able to go out to recess or go home and play with parents or siblings. And that way they can just work on their social emotional connections with different people. So that's why we're asking for $150 for basketballs. There's a place called Five Below that does sell them for $5 or below. And you can get about 29 to 30 basketballs. Questions?
A motion to vote?
I second it.
All right. Well, all yes. All for yes. Okay. Any no's? All right. Okay. All right. Good job, Coach.
then moving on with the agenda, we do have community involvement in school-wide events. We did host a new student house induction back before Christmas, and we are looking to do another induction here at the end of February. Student council is collecting used books so that they can do a used book sale. We had 4 fifth grade students participate in the Orange County Public Schools All-County Concert. So representing Endeavor were 5th graders Derek Wallace and Isabella Marriott in Torres, 5th grade Denise Cesar, and 4th grader Nathaniel Ricky, who represented Endeavor for All-County Reporter. Coach Brands, along with the Healthy School Committee and featuring Mr. Mack last week, have been hosting faculty and staff workouts after school on Thursdays. I know that you heard Ms. Quadrado mention that she wanted the webcam and microphone for virtual events with authors, which they hosted one back in January from the desk of Zoe Washington by Janae Marks, which, as Ms. Quadrado said, is one of our Sunshine State books. So I know we've got quite a few Endeavor students who have read the book, and some of them are moving on to Battle of the Books, where students will compete against other schools based off the Sunshine State books. And then keep an eye out on Class Dojo and on our Endeavor Facebook page, because there's been a lot of information coming out about middle school nights for our 5th graders. So we've had both Meadowwoods and Hunters Creek Middle School come by Endeavor and speak with the 5th graders, start the process of them picking which electives that they want to take in middle school, and just getting them excited for the big transition that is coming. So it's been pretty busy here at Endeavor, and it's only going to get busier moving forward.
Can I say one thing really quick? The used book sale, just so everybody knows what that is, student council, led by Ms. Waldeck, one of our 5th grade teachers, she's phenomenal. They put together a very detailed presentation, which they invited me to their student council meeting one morning before school. And they have like a little philanthropy project where they're trying to rejuvenate the butterfly garden out here behind the school by the P Pavilion. Their goal is to raise, had a dollar amount, I'm trying to remember what it was, I'm sorry. But yeah, their goal is to raise a dollar amount to invest back in the school and to revitalize the butterfly garden. So it's a very it's a very simple process, and they're really excited about it. I mean, they had a very detailed presentation about where they were going to shop with the plants they needed, and like based on where they were going to plant them and how much light they required, and it was really good. So, yes, sir. I'm sorry. Can you back up one more? All right, listen, Ms. Torres never gives herself enough credit. I know that our audience is dwindling here. I went to my first all-county concert, was it last Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
Last Thursday at the Dr. Phillips Center. We had 4 students, and it was one of the most impressive things I've seen ever in elementary. The kids did an absolutely great job. It was a compilation of all elementary kids across the district. There were music teachers across the district that just, as a collaborative effort, put this together, and it was wonderful. Ms. Torres received multiple shout-outs for her work in the entire production, so she's very instrumental. She's a leader in her community, in her music community within the district. So kudos to Ms. Torres too. So. All right, thank you. Sorry, Torres. I had to make sure I get you a spot.
And then we're going to call on PTA for a little PTA update.
Yeah, so we had our Sun event at Andretti. That was a really good turnout. Everybody had a lot of fun. We had a Valentine's shop for the kids all last week, and then this Monday for Valentine's Day, pajama day. Everybody dressed in their best pajamas. That was a lot of fun. Kids enjoyed that. Coming up March 2nd, we have Spirit Night at Burger Pie. It's really all day from open to close. So if anybody goes during the day, it'll still be counted as well. But we will be there in the evening. A lot of the faculty and staff and teachers show up, and it's just fun. And then our other big event is our Daughter Dance, which is coming up April 1st. It will be here at the cafeteria, I believe, from 6 to 8 p.m. And if anybody is willing to or has time to volunteer to help set up or clean up or anything like that, we would greatly appreciate that as well.
We have a few other things happening for the rest of the year, but those are our big main events coming up right now.
All right, I'm gonna open my mouth again because I was at the Sun event, the PTA event at Andretti. I mean, there were what, 120-ish people there?
145.
145 people. So, and it wasn't just father son; it was all types of individuals with young men, right? It was a great event, and I had these people coming up to me who were attending saying, "Wow, thank you so much, thank you so much." And I said, "Listen, I have very little to do with this. It is all our PTA, and you know, we have a PTA that carries maybe 100 people, 100-ish, right? But I'll tell you, anybody who's interested, and I don't know how many people are online right now, interested in becoming more active in PTA, I would encourage it because honestly, there's about 5 or 6 individuals who do everything, right? And it's these 2 ladies, and there's 3 more. 3?
Mhm.
Yeah, 3 more. And there are other people who help out, but these guys lead charge. They organized that whole event. It was phenomenal. And they really, PTA membership is crucial. And anybody who's even interested, I think it was at $5, $10.
10.
$10 to become a member. I know that we're kind of in the back half of the year now, but something to definitely look at for next year, becoming actively involved in PTA. So
Yeah, and being a member with these events, you get a discount as well.
yeah, a $5 discount. All right.
And just moving forward to what's next, there is no school on Monday for President's Day, so make sure you keep your child home, enjoy the day off, go outside and play because it's supposed to be beautiful out. We've got Lockheed Martin coming here for Engineering Day for our 5th graders later this month. And then right before spring break is our annual Field Day event with Coach Brands and Coach Miranda leading the charge, where students will be outside for at least half the day with our primary students in the morning, and then our intermediate grades, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the afternoon. And it'll be a fun day for the students right before spring break and before testing season really begins. So that is on a Thursday, because on Friday, there is no school because it is the end of the marking period on Friday, March 11th. So staff members are going to be gathering their grades, and then it's spring break with school resuming back again on March 21st. And then we move into that first batch of FSA testing the week of April 5th for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, where 3rd will be taking their ELA test, FSA reading, and then 4th and 5th will be taking that FSA writing test.
Okay. Listen, that has been, we've had a very heavy meeting, very heavy agenda. I feel like we got a lot accomplished. I'm excited to give some teachers some money to invest in our kids. I think it's going to be an exciting process. No doubt that we have some wrinkles that we're ironing out, but I thought for the first time it went relatively smooth. I appreciate everybody, we have to challenge with good, constructive questions. I think that it makes the process even better. That we're not just handing money out, but people are able to speak knowledgeably about their motivations and their passions. So I would challenge you guys to speak up and ask questions and be critical of each other, and knowing that it's all for the better of the student. So we have 2 meetings coming up, right? 2 in March. If you can make it, we'd love. We're gonna do the 9th and the 30th, and that's all I got. Okay, so we're gonna motion to adjourn. Can I get a second? We have very few people here. All right, we're gonna vote, and we're going to adjourn. Thank you for coming today, everybody. Anybody who's online, great meeting. Have a great day, and if you need anything, please reach out to me. Okay, please reach out to me. Have a good day. Have a good week. No school Monday.
Bye, everybody. Bye, guys. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. What do you need from me, Torres, to help you get ready for the day?
Nothing.
Okay, you don't need help moving any of your stuff up?
No, I'm gonna leave it down here for Friday.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Of course.
Sorry.